Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with a little catch up from the FIA Nations race at Spa in the Group 3 cars. It was a single make race in the Dodge Viper. Everyone had to go the Viper obviously, and it was a standing start. So turn 1 was going to be vitally important to get through it clean and get a good start away. This race was, I think, either the 3rd or the 4th slot of the day. There was one more after, I think, possibly. We had some bad luck, some racing incidents in the previous races. And this one, we managed to get a solid reasonably okay qualifying lap in, starting P5. We weren't doing it again. We were going for solo qualifying laps without slipstream. I just find sometimes it's safer. And yeah, this time we're starting from P5. Got an absolutely perfect start. I think we nearly actually jump started it, but I kind of preempted the start and just about got away with no penalty or anything like that, and nailed it and got all the way up to P3 from P5 on the grid through turn 1 nice and safe. And yeah, working our way down straight now, so very cautious on the opening lap, obviously starting on the soft tyres. That helped with the start as well. So yeah, being cautious through here not to pick up a penalty. This corner was very tricky in the Dodge Viper. The car just seemed to naturally understeer all the way. If you didn't give it a little lift on the downhill section, you tended to get a lot of understeer as you were going up the top, and you could easily pick up a penalty. But yeah, picking up that slipstream all the way down from the double toe from P1 with the VQS Bradley in front of us there. Also picking up the slipstream from P1, and we're getting that double toe, which almost broke the slipstream straight away from P4. However, I think with the battling going on, they're going to just catch right back up into that slipstream behind us. As you can see in that bottom right hand corner, you can see the train of cars all following behind. You're going to see gradual gaps appear where obviously different people starting on different tyres. There was obviously a lot of strategy involved with this race. You could start on the hards, mediums or softs. Obviously most people at the front of the grid will always start on the soft tyre because it's going to give you the better start and get you out into clean air. If you're starting further back, there's more chance of penalties. If you put yourself on the medium tyres, you will lose the slipstream. You'll also lose the the ability to have clean air because you're going to be going slower. A lot of cars are going to be fighting with you. So in general, if you're starting in the top 4 or 5, most people tend to put them soft tyres on and try and break free. It tends to work out on Gran Turismo with the strength of the slipstream as well. Obviously it is back to 8 temps, but it's still very strong as we work our way to complete lap 1, and a really nice solid lap, as you can see there, still in P3 and in a good position in this race. So my main aim really throughout this race was really to try and hold on to the slipstream to P1 and 2 for as long as possible, because although Spa is a very good track for me, the Viper understeered quite a lot for my liking. It wasn't really the perfect car for me, and yeah, we were just trying to get a nice solid result in here. So P3, we'll take this position. If we can finish in this position, I'd be very happy, as we have P4 and 5 very close, but you can already see a bit of gaps developing as you saw some cars in distance already pitting there. They must have started their race on the hard tyre, and they're getting rid of that hard tyre straight away. So there was multiple strategies available for this race. The 2-stop was probably the best way to do this. It was a soft, then medium, and then go on the hard tyre. Now I think there was a possibility you could do a double soft stint and then really like 1 lap on the mediums and 1 lap on the hard tyres, or there was the extra stint of doing maybe 4-4-4 4-4-3-1, something like that. There was plenty of different varieties in the strategies. There was no way of really doing a 1-stop. I don't think you could do. I think there was only the medium and the hard tyres that were required possibly in this race. You didn't have to use the soft tyres, but if you don't do that in a race of this distance, 12 laps, using the soft tyre for 5 laps is going to gain you almost a pit stop anyway. So it's pretty much daft not to use the soft tyre in this type of race. You find that the majority will always use the softer compound tyre because it's faster. The durability, although not as good, will still be faster than a very good set of tyres on the mediums that were in good condition. So yeah, you'll find that the majority of people always go with the softer compound tyre for as long as they physically can. As we're just holding onto that slipstream, you can see it's helping us that they're battling a little bit. That's enabling me to just stay in the background here. Obviously not trying to overdrive the car too much as well, because tyre maintenance and trying to look after them rear tyres and the front tyres was important for this race also, because obviously with the Dodge Viper the front tyres do tend to wear. So yeah, driving as aggressively as I can while still trying to look after the tyres. You can see the gap on the bottom right hand corner, and we've got the car right behind us there in P4 that's just about in the slipstream, but it does look like P5 we're starting to drop back as we skip through to lap 5, and you can actually see that we've managed to break the slipstream from P4. So we're about to approach the pit stop phase. You can see that I have actually pretty much lost the slipstream to P1 and P2 also, so I had to really go for an absolutely aggressive pit entry here to try and get back into the slipstream range. You can see we're not in the slipstream range, really late on the brakes there, trying to get into this apex nice and early, aggressively on the throttle, powering our way into the pit lane just to see if we could pick up that slipstream again. You can see me back on the throttle through there also, as I was trying to just see if I could pick up a bit of slipstream for the exit when we come out of the pit. So we're going to straight away put the medium tyres on here. The best way to do it normally if you're starting at the front is start with the softest tyre, then go to the second, the medium tyre, and then do the hard tyre at the end. What you don't tend to want to do starting at the front is put the hard tyre on the middle stint, because all that's going to end up doing is putting you back in traffic, because you're then going to have to pit again. Something you don't really want to do on Gran Turismo Sport. You tend to want to stay out of the front and give yourself that clean air, run it nice and smooth, don't lose time through battling. And yeah, it can work out sometimes, don't get me wrong, you can get lucky sometimes and it can work out brilliantly for you, but in general the safest way to do it is starting on the softest tyre if you're starting at the front of the grid, then going on the medium, and then the hard tyre right at the end for that one lap or whatever it is that's needed on it. As you can see, pretty much lost the slipstream. You can see now we're really going to have to push on this out lap on the medium, so I had to go very aggressive. This lap was probably one of the most important laps we could do right now at this stage, so had to really overdrive the car, because one, we didn't want to give the slipstream to P4 and start dropping further back into that P4 P5 range, and two, we had to try and see if we could just somehow get into the slipstream of P2. So you can see really pushing through here, considering this is an out lap on the mediums, and mediums are not really up to temperature straight away. It takes half a lap, but they are starting to come back. Now at this stage of the lap now, he's starting to get the grip as we push through the long left hand corner, such a corner that just keeps on going, and you just got to try and hook it up into fifth gear. And you can see again that every time we get an acceleration zone, we can see P2 pulling away because of that slipstream. He's very close to P1, so he's picking up a really strong draft, and we're there with no slipstream at all, just trying to hold on and see if we can somehow get back into the draft zone as we go through this right hand corner on the throttle as early as we can. Extremely important there not to run too far wide out, though you can get the dirty tyres that will absolutely ruin your race at this track, especially on that exit there as well. Coming out of that left hand corner, going onto the green Astro, it loses you a massive amount of time if you do that. But you can see, just look how much time we're losing now, starting to drop back a bit. So at this point of the race, I'm thinking it looks like we're going to be settling for a P3 if we can just hold on to this position and keep P4 away from our slipstream range. But going into the final chicane, P1 makes a mistake. That causes P2 to lose a bit of acceleration, and this is going to give him the opportunity of getting back in the slipstream. We're just about into the slipstream range again, so this is ideal. This was a perfect scenario for me to really get out of this turn one as well as we can, onto the throttle nice and early, powering our way out of this corner. You can see, managed to get that slipstream back. That was so important. Luckily for myself, that mistake from P1 has given me that draft back as we work down through the very tricky Rouge and Bredalian. And you can see again, we got a little bit of understeer off the curb. You can see we just about clipped the curb there, I think. I thought I got away with that. I genuinely thought we kept the car on the track. However, yeah, we mustn't have done. We picked up half-second penalty, but then there was a nice gap in front of us. I decided we're going to have to take that, get in through here, because with this half-second penalty, we need to be at the front for when we take that penalty, so we don't lose 2 places or drop back into P4 slipstream. So yeah, you could see, very, I had to go for it, brave, through the middle, had to be done, get ourselves into the lead of the race, although we have got that half-second penalty. But half a second here will only lose you. It won't lose you a massive amount. It's not even a second you'll lose. So I knew that if I just try and drive it really solid on this lap before we take our penalty, we might be able to get away with holding on to either P2 or, at worst case scenario, drop down back to where he was in P3. So this is going to be interesting. We've got Brad behind us. I know he's a very sensible driver, very clean driver. I know he's not going to do anything stupid. So I was pretty confident that if, as long as I keep reasonable pace, he's not going to dive us, we're not going to lose a position, and he's probably going to just wait for me to take that penalty anyway, and then tuck in and overtake us once we take it. So going through these very winding, fast flowing corners that I do love about Spa. It's one of my favourite tracks, especially in high downforce. In this Viper, it wasn't really my favourite because of the way the car handled, but yeah, Other cars in Group 3 I absolutely love it, like the Porsche for example. I think we even had a very good race in McLaren a couple of seasons back when we were with McLaren last time in Group 3 here. As we go through that long left hand corner, you just see a little lift off the throttle. I kind of started working out with the Viper that you have to just sometimes get off the throttle quickly and then stamp back on that throttle. Kind of helps with that understeer. As we go through the final corner, you see Brad getting very close to us there. We have a little twitch onto the throttle really early, absolutely nailed that corner. And also Brad behind us there in the VQS driver, I think he hit the curb as he went through the top part of the last corner and lost a lot of time there. You can see he's actually lost the position. So we've got Eric back behind us there, the Spanish driver, who's going to be in our slipstream. You can see I was really trying to get out this corner. We actually came so close to breaking the slipstream here, which would have been a massive help, but unfortunately he just about kept in the slipstream, so he's going to get that draft all the way through here. And we're trying to make sure we get this nice and smooth, don't want to give it up another penalty. Did that quite well. However, now you can see the driver behind. Look at the slipstream taking effect here as he's working his way down the straight. We're going to take that penalty. Look at that power of that slipstream. He absolutely, I think he must have nailed that corner as well, going onto the back straight there. But yeah, we lose that position down to P2. However, it's not that all that bad really when you think about it. We were in P3, we picked up the penalty, but with getting ourselves back up to P1, that's really helped us out in maintaining P2 in this race at the moment. So really the aim at this stage now is to try and just hold on to P2. If we can get a P2 from this race, which I was actually struggling at a bit in terms of pace with this Viper, it'd be a pretty solid result. However, we do have Bradley behind us there, you can see, in P3, who I think was actually had a bit more pace than me at this combination. Seemed to have a lot more rhythm going here, and you can see he's in our slipstream. He's also now, the problem with this with the penalty and the time loss and stuff, we've actually got P4 and 5 also in that slipstream range. You can see him behind there, just about behind P3. You can just about make him out on the replay as well there, you can see. So yeah, 5 cars almost in the slipstream range. You can see I'm just about, I think, in the slipstream to P1, but however there, made a mistake through that corner, and that is going to lose us a slipstream. I just didn't get the car rotated through the corner. I couldn't get on the power. So now we have got no slipstream to P1. This was really not what I wanted. Now we're going to be under attack from P3 and possibly P4 and 5. So we're going to try our best to hold on to a P2 in this race. It's going to be very, very hard to hold on to it to the end, but we'll give it our best shot as we go into the braking zone. Brad has a little look up the inside there, but doesn't go for it. He actually ran wide from the corner and picked up dirty tyres, so he had to brake very early. And again through here, I think he gets a little tap from the car behind, possibly. You can see nearly loses the rear, possibly from them dirty tyres. And this is perfect for me because this is now giving me a bit of clean air as we skip ahead to the end of lap 11. You can see we've got a bit of clean air. Brad actually dropped back a position during that phase, but managed to get back past the car in P4. And now you can see he's in P3, looking up the inside here. He's decided not to go for that. We're going to try and hold on to this P2 as we go into the pit lane entry. We're going to have to put the hard tyres on now for the 1 lap. It's going to be a 1 lap sprint race to the end to try and hold on to this P2 in this race at Spa with the Viper. So yeah, into the pits, straight off with them hard tyres, and then, sorry, straight off with the medium tyres, on with the hard tyres, and we're going to do that 1 lap that is required by the rules in the FIA. That you have to do the 1 lap on the hard tyres at least, as yeah, otherwise you're going to pick up a massive, I think it's 1 minute penalty. As we work our way down, you can see the gap to P1. We've dropped back a little bit. We've lost about 1.5 seconds to him. He was clearly faster than the speed that I could do, especially on the medium tyres. Soft tyres, a little bit better for me. In general, the softer the tyre that goes, the better I get. The harder the tyre I go, the slower I get. So yeah, this lap with the hard tyre was going to be very difficult to hold on to this position. We've got to keep it smooth, try not to make any errors, and see if we can pick up a P2 in this race. It'd be a brilliant result if we can do it. Going through here, you can see them hard tyres very, very low on grip on that first few corners. Obviously, they're not fully up to temperature yet, so just trying to be cautious while trying to push at the same time. You can see the gap to P4 and 5 seems to be safe now. You can see if, as long as myself and Brad don't do anything stupid, we should at least pick up a podium in this race as we go through this left-hand corner, trying to make sure we get it very close to the bollards on the left there without hitting them. Obviously, they will slow you down massively if you hit them. Did that quite nice through there, and now trying to carry the speed through this long left-hand corner without reducing too much speed. You see onto the throttle nice and early into 5th gear, early shift into 5th there. This Viper, obviously you don't rev this Viper out. It's something that I found out quite late. You shift at about 70-80%, and that actually is the fastest way to drive this car. It's not a 50% shift car like the McLaren in Group 4. It's around 70 to 80%, and it seems to be the fastest when you shift like that. Now obviously you could shift a bit more than that if you're in a slipstream, because you're going to burn more fuel. But yeah, going through here now, final few corners available. Can we hold on to P2? And for some reason I shifted up to 5th gear there. I shouldn't have done that. I should have stayed in 4th for a bit longer. Lost a bit of momentum out the corner. However, we still got away with it. And you can see that Brad in P3 there's just not close enough to go for a move before this really fast left-hand corner. Looks like he's just saving it to see if he can go for a move in the final chicane. So we're going to hold kind of an inside line, but I didn't really want to be too close to the inside. So you can see I saw him go and cut back on the mirror. Decided to just let him have that. As long as I brake late and hold on to the inside, we should be okay. Working through the final chicane, just about held on to that. We're going to go over the line for a very, very solid P2 in this FIA Nations race. And I think we picked up about 330 something, 331 points or something like that. So pretty decent points. It could have been a lot worse in that race if we didn't really hold on to the slipstream at the start. I think that was the saving grace for ourselves, that we managed to hold on, and also that penalty. We got away with that a little bit. So yeah, managing to take a P2 was a pretty good result for myself, especially with that car. So yeah, very happy. Hope you enjoyed that race. We're going to catch up with some more FIA races over the next few weeks or so. We've got a couple more races and some daily races to get out to you as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscription button, and also make sure you hit the notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.